Hello VC, it's Robert with Block's Sonic Wafers, and it's contest time. I'm entering a contest by CGC, the vinyl guy who's relatively new to the VC, as am I. And I want to preface this by saying that I recently put together a video for Miss 80's uh, soundtrack thread, Beth. Thank you, Beth. And I'm going to link back to that video at the bottom of this one because I went through quite a few soundtracks in that video after digging around and finding as many as I could. And I, in most cases, don't want to repeat those in this video, but I do have a slew of soundtracks after digging in my secret stash that I'm going to go through, and except for a couple of exceptions, as I say, I'm not going to repeat anything from the last video, and I will explain those at the time when I do show something I've already shown. But it's going to take a few minutes. I've got a timer set on 18 minutes because my camera kind of goes out at 20. So then I would have to start a second video if we get that far. I could not put my hands on a soundtrack that I know I either had or have from a movie called Wild in the Streets. Anybody remember that one? It had a fictional band called Max Frost and the Stormtroopers or something like that, but it had a hit off that album called Nothing Can Change the Shape of Things to Come, which was covered after that by Paul Revere and the Raiders. Anyway, I don't know why I couldn't find that one, but it's around somewhere. So let's begin. I've got some on CD. I've got some on vinyl. I have expanded the rules because I'm not excluding television soundtracks, documentaries, and some special situations. So let's go. First thing I'm going to show, Home of the Brave, a film by Laurie Anderson. Features Adrian Blue, Richard Landry, Joy Askew, and others. It's got Sharky's Night on here. Language is a Virus. Don't know if you're familiar with any of those or the film by Laurie. She was married to Lou Reed. And that is number one. Number two is a single, so I don't know if that counts. This is from Robin Hood, the Prince of Thieves. Bryan Adams doing Everything I Do for You. So it's not a total soundtrack, but it is from the soundtrack. That's number two. Let's grab something vinyl. Okay, here's one that I showed in that other video. I showed the CD version of One Trick Pony. I have since played One Trick Pony, and it reminded me of how much I love this album. You know, it's got the song Late in the Evening and the song One Trick Pony, Ace in the Hole. Whoops. It's actually some of the slower tunes on this album that I really appreciate the most. How the Heart Approaches What It Yearns. That's Why God Made the Movies, Oh Marion, Nobody, Jonah, God Bless the Absentee, and It's Been a Long, Long Day. Paul Simon rarely disappoints. I don't think a lot of people consider the movie to be great. I liked it, but I really appreciate the band that he put together for that film. He's got Steve Gadd on drums, who just had a birthday yesterday. He's got Tony Levin on bass, who's played with everybody. John Lennon, King Crimson, Peter Gabriel, and I'm going to see him later this month. So if you're not familiar with One Trick Pony, check out the movie or the soundtrack and get this spot off of his lip here. Gonna have to wash some of these covers. Alright, here's one I'm sure everybody's got in their collection. The original soundtrack recording from the film by Rick Burns, Ansel Adams. This actually has a track performed by Ansel Adams playing the piano called Bach Prelude. If you're not familiar with Ansel Adams, he's a photographer. I'm sure you have seen his work. That's one of his photographs right there. He photographed mostly in black and white, mostly in the national parks, mostly in the West. Great photographer. And there's a documentary about him. Now, I saw Rachel show this one, and I'll bet mine's older than hers. All this in World War II, the original soundtrack, words and music by Lennon and McCartney. I have not played this in years, but I'm probably going to now. So it's all Beatles songs, and they're covered by Four Seasons, Held Ready, Frankie Lane, the Brothers Johnson, Roy Wood, the Bee Gees, Status Quo, Leo Sayer, Henry Gross, Peter Gabriel, Tina Turner, the London Symphony Orchestra, Ambrosia, Elton John, Leo Sayer, Brian Ferry, Keith Moon, Rod Stewart, David Essex, Jeff Lynne, and that's really most of the recognizable names. Came with a nice booklet, die cast. So it's got all your lyrics in here and some great pictures to go with each, mostly war related. So there is all this and World War II. See if I can put it back together without too much muss and fuss. Alright, in that last video I showed a sampler from this movie, Open Season. Had a song by Paul Westerberg, and this is the complete soundtrack. And it's promo. I used to do a little work for Lost Highway, the label, and this is on Lost Highway, so they sent me this. See the little punchy hole there, and it's got several songs by Paul Westerberg. Death Ray's on here, Talking Heads are on here, but mostly Paul Westerberg, and Pete Yorn's got one tune on here. I don't know if we're going to consider this or not, Elvis, That's the Way It is from MGM Personal Appearance, film at theaters worldwide. So it was a film. I consider this to be the original soundtrack. What about you? Elvis had to make an appearance. Now we're going to TV. Survivor, the hit series, Ancient Voices, New Frontier, big drama. There is some good stuff on here. I like this music better than I like the show, actually. And Christian, I know you showed this one. Quadrophenia. My cover's a little dirty. It's been in storage for a while. They were stored in my garage for some time, which I hated that, but the vinyl survived. Rock School. I don't know if anybody's seen this documentary. This is not the Jack Black comedy movie, which is somewhat related. Paul Green's Rock School is a real thing, and this was a documentary about it. So he takes young kids that want to learn to play music and teaches them at a very young age. There was a sister and brother team that were in Paul Green's Rock School at the time this documentary was made. And when they graduated, they did a concert of King Crimson music. And when they do that, they try to invite an artist related to that music, and they got Adrian Belew to come and perform with the Rock School. And the sister and brother team of Eric and Julie Slick. Julie plays bass, Eric plays drums. Adrian Belew adopted them as his bandmates in the Belew Power Trio, and they got to tour with him quite a bit. Eric moved on and joined a band called Dr. Dog, which I believe has recently hung it up. Julie is putting out her own records and has a band called Echo Test, I think it is. She's a fantastic bass player, and Eric's a fantastic drummer, so they're both going to do well. And Julie's still in the Power Trio when it's active. So Rock School, check it out. Now here's an oddity. Little price sticker still on there. This is the Outlaw Blues. Starred Peter Fonda and Susan St. James. I don't know if I recognize any of the artists on here. Well, John Oates has Outlaw Blues. Hoyt Axton, Lee Clayton, the musicians, Jim Keltner, Jeff Baxter, we've heard of these people, Robin Ford, George Clinton, Arnie Moore, Doug Dillard, Richard Green, Jerry Jeff Walker, Tambourine, Peter Grant, pedal steel. So yeah, there's some people on here. Don't know that I've ever seen the movie, to be honest, but I picked this up on the cheap, so why not? Alright, we got a twofer here. Pink Floyd, music from La Valley. Obscured by Clouds is what most of us know this by. It's got What's Up the Deal, Free 4, Absolutely Curtains. There's a scene from the movie. Hope I'm getting close enough there. And then Pink Floyd, the soundtrack from More, with Cirrus Minor, the Nile Song, Cymbeline, Quicksilver. So there's a couple more Pink Floyd soundtracks. I had one of them in my initial video. Okay, there's a couple of them that I have here where an artist had songs in movies and shows and things of that nature, and they took all of those and put them all on one CD. This is an example of that. Clannad or Clannad themes. This has got music from Into the West, Patriot Games, Last of the Mohicans, Harry's Game, and more. It's a great CD if you like their kind of music, which I do. And it's got music from a UK television show called Robin. It's about Robin Hood. Robin the Hooded Man, I believe. No, that's not right. But it's on here. Let's go back to vinyl. Here's another one I've never seen. Got it for 50 cents. Alamo Bag. And you've got Van Dyke Parks, Jim Dickinson, David Lindley's on here, Jim Keltner, Ry Cooder, David Hidalgo. Did I mention Ry Cooder? A lot of good music on here, 50 cents. And I just got my 18-minute warning. So after this, I'm going to do an edit. Okay, I hope you've all grabbed you a cup of coffee or beverage and made a sandwich. And now we're back. Love Bites. Oh, Reality Bites. Winona Ryder, Ethan Hawke, Ben Stiller. This one actually has a song on it by one of the actors. Ethan Hawke does a song on here. But it's got The Knack by doing My Sharona, Juliana Hatfield, World Party, Lisa Loeb, The Posies, Crowded House, Lenny Kravitz, Dinosaur Jr., Squeeze, Big Mountain. Quite a few good songs on here. A comedy about love in the 90s. So there's that. What we got down here? Woodstock. Needs no explanation. Three LPs. Classic. I believe Christian showed this one. Heavy Metal, Black Sabbath, Blue Oyster Cult, Cheap Trick, Devo, Donald Fagen, Don Felder, who is coming to my local theater soon, Grand Funk Railroad, Sammy Hagar, Journey, Nazareth, Stevie Nicks. I have the movie on Blu-ray somewhere. Great stuff. Singles. This one is a little heavier than Reality Bites. You've got Alice in Chains, Pearl Jam, Chris Cornell, Paul Westerberg, Love Mongers, Mother Love Bone, Soundgarden, Mudhoney, Paul Westerberg again, Jimi Hendrix, The Screaming Trees, Smashing Pumpkins. Singles. I've never seen that movie either. But I've heard the soundtrack. And here's another one that's on the edges. This was actually a stage play. And this is the soundtrack from that. National Lampoon's Lemmings. It was a parody of Woodstock. It has Christopher Guest doing Bob Dylan. It's got John Belushi doing his Joe Cocker imitation. It's quite humorous if you've never heard it. The Festival of Peace, Love, and Death. You know, lemmings commit suicide. And that's what this festival is all about. The rain chant. And this time they're chanting for it to rain. The All-Star Dead Band. Megadeth. Anyway, there's that one. That one's on the line, I guess, as far as soundtracks go. Masked and Anonymous. This was a Bob Dylan vehicle. I didn't think it was very good, but it's got a nice soundtrack, and it came with a SACD sampler of some of the Bob Dylan albums that were about to come out on SACD. It's got My Back Pages, performed by I can't read it, I'm sorry. But the Grateful Dead are on here. Los Lobos, of course, Dylan. Jerry Garcia. Dixie Hummingbirds. And Jeff Bridges is on here. John Goodman's in it. Can't remember who else. There's Masked and Anonymous. The album of the soundtrack of the trailer of the film of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Warning, this record can only be played once. That's what it says, right there on the back. And this is the executive version. It sounds terrible. Flash dance. Raise your hand if you don't have flash dance. I think that's one most people are going to show. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Jackson Brown, Jimmy Buffett, Don Felder again, Don Henley, Sammy Hagar, the Go-Go's, Graham Nash, Oingo Boingo, Quarter Flash, Poco, Ravens, Timothy B. Schmidt, Donna Summer, Joe Walsh, Billy Squire. Well, you got most of the Eagles on here, but they're all doing solo bits. So there's Fast Times at Ridgemont High. And here's one that most people probably never heard of. Comment below if you have. This is from Hurly Burly. Music by David Bearwald and the Palindrome Floating Band. It's a Sean Penn movie. It's got a pretty good jazz-oriented soundtrack. So there's Hurly Burly. Cat People. Cat People was actually a remake of an older movie called Cat People. Backstreet, which is owned by MCA. And I bought it because it had Putting Out Fire by David Bowie. Was the main reason. There's some good music on here. Most of it is score. So there's Cat People, if you remember or ever saw that one. Imagine. Yes, that was a movie. And yes, it does mostly have John Lennon songs in it. I also have the movie. There's the track listing if you can see that. I might have showed the CD of this on the last one. I'm not positive. Music from the original soundtrack. Joe Cocker, Mad Dogs and Englishmen. Rita Coolidge. Jim Gordon's on drums. Jim Keltner's on drums. Of course, you've got Leon Russell doing guitar and keyboards. Chris Stanton, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, on keyboards. Carl Radel. It was a great movie musically. The between music stuff was so-so. But what a heck of a tour. Here's another one of those fine line things. This is Peter Gabriel's The Story of Ovo. I don't think it was a movie in itself, but it was actually a performance that I know I saw on TV. I don't know if it was like an opening ceremony for the Olympics, uh, or exactly where it was done, but I know I saw it on television at some point. So if you remember where that was, tell me in the comments. And it may not apply. I apologize if that's the case. This is another one where the artist took all their songs that have been in movies and such and put them all on one CD. And this is Lyle Lovett, songs from the movies. He's got Blue Skies from the movie With Honors, Straighten Up and Fly Right from Dear God, Gee Baby Ain't I Good to You from Kissing Jessica Stein, Smile from Hope Floats, Maury Tat Mac the Knife from Quiz Show, Summer Wind from Love of the Game, What I Say from Where the Heart Is, Till It Shines with Keb Mo from Mumford. You've Got a Friend in Me with Randy Newman from Toy Story, Walking Tall from Stuart Little, Pass Me Not from Leap of Faith, and I'm a Soldier in the Army of the Lord from The Apostle. I love Lyle Lovett. He can do no wrong musically in my eyes. I don't know why he ever got pigeonholed as country, because 80% of the time I don't think he's doing country. Rancho Deluxe. Here's another Jeff Bridges vehicle. Also Jimmy Buffett vehicle. So you've got a few Jimmy Buffett songs on here and then some score music as well. There's that. Everybody comfortable? Let's pause for a sip. I'm having coffee. I'm not sure what you're having. Okay, here's another one. And this is from a documentary. You know, Bela Fleck took off to Africa and brought along his brother Sasha, and they filmed it and made a documentary out of it. And it was called Throw Down Your Heart. So here's music from that trip where he engaged a lot of African musicians and made music together, which is what Bela does. He's coming to my local theater with his Bluegrass Heart Tour this coming weekend, I believe. And an accompanying CD, actually I had to buy it separately, is Throw Down Your Heart Part 2, unreleased tracks. So I'm including that, whether we like it or not. And here's another one everybody shows. I know Christian did. Is Eddie and the Cruisers. John Cafferty and the Beaver Brown Band. On the Dark Side, that was the big hit. It was a good movie. I enjoyed it at the time. Don't know how well it's aged. Now here's a threefer. That'll move things along. Television show, True Blood. I think there's 4 of these. And I don't think I have the 4th one. It's possible. So there's the back. A lot of good stuff there. Alright, so here's one that I have on CD and on vinyl. This is Pink Floyd's The Wall, but this is the actual movie soundtrack, which was never officially released. So both of these are actually bootlegs, but they sound pretty decent actually. A lot of the music on the film from the actual album The Wall was remixed for the movie. If you're familiar with The Wall, you know there's a lot of TV dialogue and stuff between songs. It's all different in the film than it is on the studio album. So there's The Wall, the film. And we just had our 18-minute whistle. Therefore, I'm going to reset, give you a chance to make another sandwich. Be right back. Alrighty. This is third and should be final segment. This is one that I showed in the last video for Miss 80s, but I didn't have the vinyl version handy. So here is the vinyl version with music by Wendy Carlos. And later, Wendy Carlos put this out, which is the complete original score for Clockwork Orange. So it's got more and different music than this soundtrack had. And this one is fairly hard to come by from what I understand. Wendy was Walter Carlos when this one was made. And now Wendy Carlos. So there's that. Here's the vinyl version of the 2 Pink Floyds that I showed. I got out of sync there. Meant to show them at the same time. Music from the Body by Roger Waters and Ron Geeson. Raise your hand if you have that one. This was a foreign film that I liked very much called O. Horton. Footloose. They sold a lot of copies of this one, didn't they? Bonnie Tyler, Kenny Loggins, Sammy Hagar, Carla Bonoff, Shalimar, Denise Williams, Mike Reno of Loverboy, and Ann Wilson of Heart. We're getting close, folks. Here's another single, No More Lonely Nights, with silly love songs on the other side. And that was from Paul McCartney's little movie, Give My Regards to Broad Street. Ringo appeared in that film. I need some room here. Zachariah, the first electric western. John Rubinstein, Pat Quinn, Don Johnson was in it. Country Joe and the Fish, the James Gang, Doug Kershaw, the New York Rock Ensemble, Elvin Jones acts in this thing and plays. And it was partially written by the Fire Sign Theater, whom I'm going to be doing a video about very soon, or at least about my recordings by them. So there you go, Zachariah. How about Buster? Phil Collins in the movie, as well as on the soundtrack, with the Four Tops, the Hollies, Jerry and the Pacemakers, the Searchers, Spencer Davis Group, Dusty Springfield, and Sonny and Cher, with incidental music by Ann Dudley. Julie Walters was also in the film. So there's Buster. Elton John's Friends, a film by Lewis Gilbert. There's some good stuff on here. The Graduate, a classic. Boy, my cover is filthy. I probably need to upgrade this copy and get me a new one. But it's got Simon and Garfunkel on it. The Big Bright Green Pleasure Machine, Scarborough Fair, Mrs. Robinson, The Sound of Silence, and some score music as well. Okay, this was television, but this is the Beatles Anthology, number 1, 3 LPs, number 2, 3 LPs, number 3. And as you know, all these covers fit together to make one long image, which was created by Klaus Borsman, the bass player. You know, in that first video, I mentioned Help by the Beatles being the first soundtrack that I bought. We talked about Yellow Submarine. But we didn't cover all of the Beatles. The most recent one that we're all talking about is Let It Be. So this is a Japanese copy of Let It Be. This is Let It Be Naked. A sealed one, by the way. This is Get Back, which is the way Let It Be was originally intended to be released. And this is a bootleg version of that. And then there is the movie 8 Days a Week by Little Ronnie Howard. Another one we didn't cover, which was actually a television presentation. This was its an original format, Magical Mystery Tour, released as a double EP with a booklet, and it's got an EP in the front and an EP in the back. Record 1 has Magical Mystery Tour, Your Mother Should Know, and I Am the Walrus. Record 2 has The Fool on the Hill, Flying, and Blue Jay Way. And those were the new songs in the movie, and that's the way they were going to save the kids in the UK some money instead of putting out a whole album with songs that didn't belong. But then the American version, this is a Japanese copy. They put out a 12-incher, and it's got those songs plus. It's got Hello Goodbye, Penny Lane, Baby You're a Rich Man, All You Need Is Love. So there's Magical Mystery Tour. There's the CD. And you know what? That about winds us up here. I've got this, this doesn't really apply. This is David Cause at the movies. And he's doing a bunch of movie tunes on here, but he didn't actually have his tunes versions in the movies. He's got Moon River with Barry Manilow, Somewhere with Anita Baker, The Shadow of Your Smile with Johnny Mathis and Chris Botti, The Way We Were with Vanessa Williams, It Might Be You with India R.E., A Whole New World with Donna Summer, Schindler's List. So, you know, there's the digital download. It's your call on that one. It's movie music, but it wasn't in a movie. And that's going to wind it up. That is about all I can put my hands on. I hope everyone enjoyed, and I hope it wasn't too long. Hope you didn't eat too much. If you liked my video, which was 3 hours long, I would appreciate it if you would like it and sub up and go over to CGC, the Vinyl Guys channel, and sign up over there. I have. And everybody have a great rest of your Monday. See you next time. I almost forgot. I can't listen to good music without my wingman, actually wing girl, Molly. Have a look up here, Molly. Good girl. Good girl. You want to go for a walkie? All right.